This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Hey, it is Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN, channel 158 over on Sirius, YouTube TV, VSiN Watch app, terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you here on a Sunday in which, listen, you always get excited for the Masters. It is the biggest golf tournament of the year every single year. You know the history, you know the lore, you see the course, you know how exclusive it is, you know how hard it is to get tickets. You've been turned down for 20 years in a row, just like I have, every single time that you've applied to get tickets. But Mike, something about today, knowing what Rory can accomplish, seeing that it did end up being him and Bryson in that final pairing. Bryson, by the way, cans a bomb putt on 18 to get within 2 to make it a little bit more interesting as we head into Sunday. And you and I were talking about this. We're walking into the studio. We're here at the world's largest sports book at Circa in Las Vegas. There's a roped off area that's usually out there for March Madness and NFL Sundays. There's a whole bunch of seats and stuff that already have the reserve tags on them. This golf tournament is going to be popping today.
Oh, people care.
Yeah.
People care a lot here. You get to see Rory go for that career Grand Slam, and you also have this dream matchup with DeChambeau and McIlroy. We haven't seen the same tension from the LIV golfers with Rory, but at the same time, you still have that playing in the background. We've seen these two compete for a major before. This is going to be a very, very interesting final round here from Augusta, and maybe someone like Connors can get it going. He's sitting there at 8 under. He's 4 back of Rory. We'll see how he's able to play. You've got Reed and Oberg sitting there as well. This is going to be a really interesting end to the Masters. I'm hoping we just get the two of them within a stroke or two as we come down to the wire here. See how Rory able to respond to the pressure and all of the years that he has been trying to win this golf tournament, and now he is on the precipice of it. Can he get over that hump?
Fantastic sports story for us today.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
fantastic
awesome.
sports story for us today. Another massive, massive day because NBA is going to have a lot of things decided today. Now, not so much in the Eastern Conference. So it's already locked in 1-10. So we can go ahead and tell you Cavs 1, Celtics 2, Knicks 3, Pacers 4, Bucks 5, Pistons 6. Those will be your guys that are not in the play-in. Magic, Hawks, Bulls, and Heat round out the 7, 8, 9, 10 over there in the East. But, Mike, in the West, we do have some stuff that's going on here. 1, 2, 3 are set. OKC, Rockets, Lakers, 1, 2, 3, that is all locked up. But here's where we get into stuff today, guys.
Who will they play?
Yeah. So the Nuggets are currently 4. With a win over the Rockets, they actually secure home court advantage there in the first round. So yes, something to play for the Nuggets. Clippers are currently 5. They play the Warriors. Massive game for both of those teams.
Yeah, the Warriors sitting there at number 6. They could be either 6
7.
or
Yes.
The Warriors are sitting at 6 right now, but they can go all over the place here with the Timberwolves there at 7. It depending on what the Warriors do, I'm sorry, you're right. The Warriors are sitting at 7 right now. Depending on what the Warriors do, they can move all the way up to as high as the 6th seed. They will likely host the playing game if they lose, so they have a positive situation there. But this game matters a ton for them because you don't really want to play in a situation here where you end up in the 6. I mean, you almost want to be the 7 if you're the Warriors. So I'm interested to see what they come out and do.
The interesting thing here about this one, okay, so with the Clippers, a win and a Nuggets loss actually moves them all the way up to 4. A win and a Nuggets win just means they'll play each other in the first round. Then a loss then likely drops them all the way into
the play-in game.
Yes. So that's why this is so important there. The Timberwolves, they could get as high as 4 if both the Nuggets and the Clippers lose based off of the season tiebreakers with them. So again, Timberwolves could climb all the way to 4 today, depending on how things break out. We just talked about the Warriors. That said, the way that the Warriors seasons and tiebreakers works out, they can't get any lower than 7. So they can only go up. 7 is kind of their bottom with the virtue of their head-to-heads that they have going on out there. The Grizzlies, 8th, 9th, and 10th right now. So those 3 teams are in the play-in no matter what, Mike. But the Grizzlies can move into 7 if the Timberwolves lose to the Jazz. And so, of course, that means you would get to host as opposed to going on the road. So getting to the 7 for the Grizzlies would be good. Kings win over the Suns or a Mavs loss has the Kings actually hosting that 9-10 game. So again, lots and lots and lots going on over there in the West. And oh, by the way, good luck figuring out who's playing today. So here's the list that I was able to get to before I got to the studio. It's probably gotten longer. Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, Tyrese Halliburton, SGA, LeBron, Ja Morant, Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Trae Young, Paolo Banchero. They are all not playing today.
Yeah, specifically the Eastern Conference lines today are very, very tough to decipher because you've got games where you would see significantly bigger spreads or other teams favored, but because of who is and isn't playing and considering the East is already locked up, it's hard to figure out, okay, exactly where these lines should land here. For instance, the Knicks are laying 4.5 on the road to the Nets. If the Knicks were at full strength, they'd be laying close to 14. But we only see a 4.5 line there. So you've got to make sure, especially with these early games, understand who is in and who is out. And all these Eastern Conference games will tip off here at 10:10 Pacific, 1:10 Eastern. And then the Western Conference will all tip off around 12:40 Pacific, 3:40 Eastern. Those games are much more closely aligned from a spread perspective. Yes, the Lakers not playing anyone, dogs today to the Portland Trailblazers, but you do have a lot of these situations, and specifically the games that really matter, that you are seeing more of the normally lined spreads.
Yeah, so to kind of run you guys through just real quick here, as Mike mentioned, so the Knicks, 4.5-point road favorites over the Nets, 210 your total there. The Celtics are 10.5-point home favorites over the Hornets. 209 is your total there in that one. The Wizards are 8.5-point road dogs to the Heat. 215.5 your total with that one. The Bulls, 8-point road favorites over the 76ers. 237 is your total on that one. The Pistons are 9-point road favorites over the Bucks. As we mentioned, the Bucks not playing anybody here in this one. 222.5 is your total there in that one. The Pacers are 7-point road favorites over the Cavs. Again, we talk about the Cavs. They are actually, so the list is far longer. I only said I am looking here at I think 7 different guys that have been ruled out for the Cavs here.
Yeah, you're going to see
in this one. So
because there's so little to play for in the East, you're going to see a lot of these teams just consider this a preseason game. We don't want to get anyone injured here as we head into the playoffs. Like I said, the West, fascinating, right? The Warriors, 3.5-point favorites over the Clippers. Kind of like the Clippers plus the points there. I do feel like the Clippers are a little more incentivized to win. One of the interesting games to me as well is the Denver Nuggets laying 7.5 on the road at the Houston Rockets. We saw the Rockets bench everybody at halftime against the Lakers earlier this week. The Rockets are already sitting a couple players today, and the Nuggets very much do need to win this basketball game. That seems like one of the few games where you have clear motivation differences on both of those teams that are going to be heading to the playoffs.
The last of the games that's going to be tipping here momentarily, the Magic are 3.5-point favorites over the Hawks. 215.5 is your total there in that one. And one of the interesting so the Hawks are in the playoffs. However, they're in a 3-way tie. And from a record standpoint, it actually would benefit to lose this game because they're locked into where they are in the playoffs as it is anyway. But it actually helps their draft positioning if they were to lose today. So Trae Young, as we mentioned, not playing for the Hawks. Wouldn't be surprised to see anybody that you've ever heard of, maybe about halftime, decide that they need some rest as well with all of that. Because again, the Hawks can't go up or down, but you can go up or down in the draft. And so they would benefit to lose this game.
And we're seeing movement. 1 minute before tip, the Magic now out to a 3.5-point favorite. Yeah. So Magic money coming in with that philosophy where, look, the Hawks really don't have anything to play for, and they're actually incentivized to lose. So don't mind a Magic bet here if you want to take them minus the 3.5. And I would keep an eye on second half betting in a lot of these games because you're going to see players be benched late in the second quarter at halftime. That's a great opportunity to then go in and take the other side. And the Hawks are one of those teams I keep an eye on.
We already talked about the Masters. Again, guys, this is what we'll talk about a ton here today. Rory and Bryson tee off 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. So we'll have some time here to get some sample size out on the course and see what this is looking like. The only disappointment to me, the Masters did put out pin placements this morning. I don't know what they were thinking on 16. It is not the traditional 16 pin placement. It's actually in an impossible corner of the green. And so instead of having that drama where, sure, a hole in one is 1 in a million of happening, but like it's a threat. Mm-hmm. You could at least be aggressive at the traditional 16 pin placement today. Today, everyone's just going to be trying to 2-putt par and get out of there.
Good luck.
Takes a little bit of the drama out of it. Kind of a bummer there. You mentioned the Corey Connors being 4 back. The last guy to come from 4 back was way back in 2011.
Yeah, it's hard to make up strokes Sunday at the Masters. Any fourth round bets for you here that you're interested in getting in right now? We've got Rory minus 200, DeChambeau plus 240, Connors at 18-1, your third choice. Any head-to-heads or anything else that you're going to be sweating here amongst the leaders? Yeah,
my bad. Unfortunately, they're going. I played Joaquin Niemann over John Rahm. John Rahm rode a 4.6 strokes gained putting performance yesterday.
Oh, that's replicatable.
Where he lost everywhere else. He lost around the green. He lost off the tee. He lost on approach. He lost whatever. He just had a red hot putter, and complete opposite for Joaquin Niemann yesterday, in which his putter was ice cold, but he gained in every other category. And so, like, hey, listen, I'll take the dude who gained in all of the most important parts, and not the guy that gained in the variant part. And so I took Niemann in a head-to-head against John Rahm. Real quick, I did take the Yankees minus 114 over the Giants. Rodon's expecteds are better than his results are so far, Mike. And then also the Giants, two of their best hitters are left-handed, and they get platooned against lefties. And so I think this makes the Giants lineup a little bit weaker. So I did take the Yankees in one of the early games.
Yeah, I don't mind the Yankees look there at all. I played one play from the Blue Jays Orioles here. Give me Adley Rutschman over 1.5 hits, runs, plus RBIs, minus 110 out there. He is 15 for 25 against Barrios in his career with 4 home runs. Let's play the law of averages that he's able to stay hot against a pitcher he crushes.
And because of their pitching matchup, I took the Orioles over 4.5 on a team total standpoint. You're actually getting plus money on that. I understand this lineup has not lived up to standards so far for what we thought this Orioles team would be. Jose Barrios
he's not good.
Bad. Like, he's over the hill. He's washed. And so I am going to bet against him 4.5 over on the Orioles there. We'll talk more Major League Baseball when we come back. Colby Marchio is going to join us.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is Ready, Set, Bet here on a Saturday. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you live from Las Vegas, world's largest sports book, right out here behind us at Circa Resort and Casino, in which, in a matter, like we said, leaders tee off here in about an hour and a half, about an hour and 15 minutes. And so over the next hour, people are going to start funneling in here. They're getting their coffee right now. They're getting their eggs in their stomach because of whatever they did last night around town. And so, it's going to be a good atmosphere out here for sure.
It's going to be fun. I love the electricity in golf majors as well, because when you have someone hole a long putt, when you have one of those chips that gets close, or someone make a shot from distance, you're going to get a reaction from the crowd, and everyone's going to be watching the same thing, unlike an NFL Sunday or during March Madness where everyone's eyes are all over the place. 100% focus here on the Masters today.
Yeah, going to be a really, really, really good time. Now, joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line, Colby Marchio. You can find his work over at Your Betting News at C_Marchio2 over there on the Twitter machine as well. Colby, appreciate the time, man.
No, thank you guys so much. Happy Sunday.
Yes, it is going to be a good Sunday here for sure. Well, actually, if Bryson wins, it's not going to be a good Sunday.
I will be just fine with Bryson wins.
It's not going to be a good Sunday for me, but we'll see how that all plays out. But Major League Baseball, rocking and rolling. And I asked this question of a guest we had yesterday, and I do want to get your opinion as well. Mike and I both super heavy numbers, statistics guys. It carries over from football into baseball as well. With that being said, you kind of have to start drawing conclusions much quicker in the NFL, right? We've only got a 17-game sample. You really kind of got to move off of priors a lot quicker. You've got to understand what teams are doing a whole bunch quicker and kind of have faith in what you're seeing is going to continue to play out. Well, we do have 162 games in Major League Baseball. How much of a sample do you need to feel comfortable with the numbers that you're seeing in front of you?
So I tell people it really doesn't matter what this season's numbers say until really mid-May, June. Last year, I was terrible out the gate, and I just kept telling everybody, just wait till May, wait till June. Then we'll have a good enough sample size to know what we're looking at and what we can trust. It's tough. It's tough when you're hot out the gate, because then you get absolutely worried. I don't want to humble brag, but I'm doing pretty decent, which concerns me every single day because I bet every single day. So trusting my gut is really the best option here, because say it's a pitcher, what's 3 starts really count? It doesn't. It could go either way in the next 5.
Yeah, the variance inside baseball is so wide that it's very hard to be, after 3 starts, confident that the numbers are going to either play out like they say they will, or you're going to see that regression or improvement in that next start as well. It takes some time to be able to get to those numbers. Now, one other thing we talked about during the break, the first 5 betting. I'm a huge proponent of first 5 betting. I don't pretend to know these bullpens as well as I probably should if I want to be betting full games. I'm not sure who was used over the last 2 days. To me, I like start and end with my handicap with the starting pitchers, and because of that, I love first 5 bets. You're a big first 5 proponent as well.
Yeah, you just gained yourself a big fan here. I don't know any reliever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know everyone's bullpen better than anybody, and if I do, just know I'm being facetious and I'm lying. I don't pay attention to it. I really don't care at the end of the day unless it's my favorite team, and other than that, I still don't know, because my whole handicap's the first 5. Even if player props with hitters, my whole handicap is who's starting. And if he gets a hit after that starter's out, I consider that just luck, really, because I'm hoping he gets at least 3 at-bats against whoever's starting. And then, or if I'm betting on that pitcher, that team does well in the first 5, or it does worse the first 5, because I take team totals as well. And I'm banking on him being there until the first 5 innings are over with, heading into the 6th, where I might live bet and take the team total over if they don't cash me.
Let's head to a game 4:05 Eastern time in the Mets and the A's. This is Kodai Senga versus Luis Severino. Full game line here, -142 for the Mets on the road, +120 for the A's at home. A flat 9 is your total here in this one, but you are going to be looking at a couple of props.
Yes, I'm going to be all over Juan Soto over 1.5 bases and a little sprinkle on his home run. If you like a guy to get his bases, you like a guy to get his home run. Just sprinkle quarter unit. Don't need to get too serious on it. Juan Soto has the 2nd highest matchup rating on batters-box today. Has not recorded an extra base hit since Monday. I guess you could say he's due. I like to use that when I feel good about a player and I don't have much else to say. But the weather's fantastic in Sacramento. Going up against Luis Severino, like you said, and Luis Severino has fantastic trends against elite rated hitters on batters-box.com, allowing 1 hit 73% of the time, over 1.5 H to the double R 60% of the time, over 1.5 total bases 45% of the time, and 20% to the homer, and that's a 55 elite hitter sample size. And Luis Severino's pitches aren't that great. 1 of his 5 pitches are above league value, according to Fangraphs, and the rest are below league value. So hopefully Soto can get a hold of one. If you don't like the price of the bases, I highly suggest just sprinkling the double and the home run, because it's fantastic value.
Yeah, Severino struggled at home so far this year after starting the season out well in Seattle, giving up 4 home runs in the last 2 games there in Sacramento. Now, you like another player prop here? Let's talk about the late game. The Cubs taking on the Dodgers after a 16-0 bashing, which wasn't as bad as it looked. We had a position player come in the last 2 innings, and the Cubs hung some runs up on them. Who do you like today in Los Angeles?
We're going right back to the first 5s. I love the Dodgers' first 5 team total today at 2.5. They're coming off their biggest shutout loss in team history. I think it's a nice revenge spot. Plus, they have Colin Ray on the mound, who has the worst pitcher on batters-box pitcher ratings today, allows the 2nd most hard contact, has the 2nd worst average hitter matchup WOBA, and the worst average hitter matchup ISO. The Dodgers have 3 elite rated hitters, 0 poor, 3 above the league K rate, 2 above the league ground ball rate. So not too many guys in a bad spot. They have the highest average hitter matchup rating, which is graded as elite. They haven't been the sexiest in the first 5 in terms of scoring, but they're still averaging around 2.38 per first 5. And I expect that to change tonight, especially at home. And they definitely have to bounce back after just getting absolutely embarrassed.
Talking to Colby Marchio, you can find his work over at Your Betting News, C_Marchio2, the number 2, over there on the Twitter machine as well. Let's head to a pitcher prop as the Rockies head on the road over to the Padres. The Padres massive home favorites here in this one, -250, +205. If you like the Rockies as dogs on the road, a flat 7 is your total. What about Michael King?
Love Michael King. I'm a big fan of his stuff. He hasn't been the best strikeout pitcher outside of his 2nd start this season, where he went off for 11, but he's coming off 2 Ks in his last start against the A's. I think he bounces back today against the worst team in terms of K matchup, or in terms of K rate, hovering around 30%, which is just a luxury for a guy like Michael King, who has nasty stuff. He has the 3rd highest average hitter matchup K percentage, taking on 9 hitters above the league K rate. when having an elite matchup K rate, he goes over 6.5 strikeouts 58% of the time and goes 5+ innings 87% of the time. That's a 17-game sample size. We just need 8, so just an extra one there. I think it's worth the price, especially against the worst disciplined team in baseball right now.
So, we've had a lot of people on over the last couple of days talking about baseball, and one of the divisions that to me is wildly fascinating here, the AL East. You've got the Yankees, who are your favorites right now, have a half-game lead over the Blue Jays. I'm a big proponent of the Red Sox. We've had a couple people on who love the Orioles. Where are you going inside this division? You think the Yankees are going to be able to run away with it?
So I am a Yankees fan, but I do not put my bias in anything that I say. I'm very, very... I'm not. I don't have my Yankee bias in anything. I'm probably the least biased Yankees fan on the planet, which I could probably get flack for, but I don't care. I like being realistic. I don't like the Orioles. I didn't like them coming into the season at all. I think they kind of slept through the offseason. They're sleeping right now. I don't want to touch their props at all at the moment with even the first fives. Nothing with them. I do think the Red Sox bounce back. I was very high on them coming into the season. I thought they had the most perfect offseason for a team that needed just a few more pieces to be back. But the Yankees rotation scares the hell out of me. And I don't want to hope for my team to be good down the stretch when I don't have any trust in their rotation. The bats are going to be phenomenal. The torpedo bats are going to be awesome. If you have a problem with them, suck it up. It's fine. But I think it's still the Red Sox division to win.
He is Colby Marchio. Find him over at Your Betting News at C_Marchio, the number 2 over on the Twitter machine as well. Colby, appreciate the time and good luck today.
No, thank you guys so much. Have a great Sunday.
So, Mike, just again, like I said, I am on the Yankees here against the Giants. That is going to be first pitching here in about 10 minutes. So if people want to get in on that one, I know they're going up against Logan Webb, and I do understand that Logan Webb has great stats on the season so far. One, we keep talking about sample size, but the other thing here is he's got the Reds twice already.
It helps.
And, yeah, 2 out of his 3 starts are against the Reds, who have the 7th highest K rate in baseball, the 4th lowest walk rate, and only the White Sox, Royals, and Pirates have a lower WOBA. So yeah, he's
slightly tougher matchup today.
Fortunate on that. And you do like Adley Rutschman there on the over on 1.5 is just total bases, yeah? Hits, run RBI.
Hits, runs, RBIs, yeah. So it's a 1.5 number for Rutschman. He is 15 for 25 against the pitcher they're facing today with 4 home runs. It's just a massive sample size with 25 at-bats when you get 15 hits. And I'm willing to take a shot there. They'll be able to keep it going. You can catch plus money on that, too.
Also on the Orioles, over 4.5 runs for me. Guys, do appreciate it, as we say at the top of each and every show. But again, Sirius Channel 158. We got the VSiN Watch app, YouTube TV. We got iHeartRadio. We're on Fire TV. We're on Roku. All the different places you can come find VSiN. VSiN.com, of course, as well. Thank you for being with us here at VSiN.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Oh, boy. This is Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN.
Tragedy at break.
This is just, we're sitting here. We're going to talk. We have a newsletter pick for the NASCAR race a little bit later in the show, which we will reveal. And, Wyatt Tomczyk pops his head in. Hey, you want to bet or whatever? And I just throw out a name. And he's like, yeah, that's not bad. And so I go and I make the bet, and I got to make another bet. And you're like, wait a minute, those odds.
Yeah, that's wrong. He's not the co-favorite. Yeah, he's like the 5th choice in the race.
And I look, and it defaulted me to the season championship winner as opposed to today's race. The default in the app was for a futures bet as opposed to like the immediate bet.
So now you have what, a 6-month sweat?
Yeah. So now I got to pay attention to NASCAR like for the rest of the thing. This is unbelievable.
Have to go up to Lids here, get you a number hat of the driver that you're locked in on now.
This is just that I can assure you, history was made today for me because that's the first NASCAR future I've ever made.
I'm guessing that'll be the last too.
Yeah, that is the first NASCAR future I've ever made. Man, all right, well. It is what it is now. I will have to, on next break, go in and actually try to make a bet for today.
You'll have time, yeah.
Yeah, for actually today in all of this. Guys, we talked about the couple of bets that we had in our accounts there in the early games. There are some other first pitches just to bring up. The Pirates and Reds, the Braves and Rays, the Royals and Guardians, Nats and Marlins are all starting here in the next 10 minutes. Hunter Green for the Reds. They are -185 home favorites here over the Pirates. They're going with Carmen Mlodzinski.
Yeah, that guy.
So they're going with Carmen Mlodzinski. Yeah, he started 1 game for the Pirates in 2023. He started 4 games for them in 2024. Yeah.
This is one I actually looked at because you could lay the half run in the first 5 with the Reds and lay like minus 135. It's a little juicy, but this is a Hunter Green start for this Reds team that's been hitting the baseball pretty well the last couple days. It would be Reds or pass first 5 for me.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Mlodzinski, his last time out was against the Cardinals, who've actually started off pretty hot, and he went 5, only 1 earned, struck out 6.
Ooh.
So had a decent little outing last time out here versus the Cardinals. So 26-year-old who, like I said, is very little experience in the majors for this Pirates team. I don't know, maybe if that number drifts a little bit further between now and first pitch, I'll take me some like 165, 170 on the Pirates here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Hunter Green's been good this year.
Braves and the Rays, heartbreak for me yesterday as I took the Rays, who were leading heading into the 8th inning, and the bullpen. Check you later.
Yeah, the Rays first 5 cash for me yesterday, Matt.
That didn't get home, unfortunately. The Braves behind Chris Sale are minus 166 road favorites over the Rays, who are going with Joe Boyle. They are plus 140 at home, 8.5 your total there. Royals and Guardians. This is a Cole Reagan start for the Royals. They are minus 135 favorites on the road over the Guardians, who are going with Ben Lively. Plus 114 for the home dog, a flat 7 there in that one. And that's a product of not only the starting pitching here, but both of these teams light hitting to start the season. So a combination of Reagan's being on the hill for the Royals, Lively not being terrible, and both of these teams, like I said, the Royals are in the bottom 4 in Major League Baseball in weighted on base so far in the short sample size that we have.
Not great. Great. Actually, good hitting conditions in Cleveland. One of the few times, you hear me say that early in the season. It's about 60 degrees today. Wind blowing out toward right at 4 to 5 miles an hour. So nothing crazy from a pitching perspective. We've seen some very rough weather days so far in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things like yesterday it was 40 in New York. That's it. Baltimore got back up to 60 today. A couple of those East Coast cities at least have rebounded a little bit. Now, it's not the greatest hitting conditions when it's 58, but it's way better.
It's a heck of a lot better than 40.
Yeah, it's way better than 40. So all those places over there look to be a little bit better. Then one other early first pitch for us here is the Nats and the Marlins. Mackenzie Gore going for the Nationals as minus 148 road favorites over the Marlins and Cal Quantrill. They are plus 124 home dogs, a flat 8 the total there in that one. Nats
they're interesting.
They're interesting.
Yeah.
They're interesting. I know it's a big number to lay with the Nats on the road, and you never want to do that. But Mackenzie Gore is capable. This Nats team's actually hitting the ball a little bit better than I thought. I thought they were going to be a complete bottom feeder. Has not been the case so far. There's really no power at all in that Marlins lineup. There's someone interesting. If that's a little bit too rich for your bankroll, maybe find another one that you like if you want to play money line parlay or something.
Well, you can also put the Nationals minus 1.5. That's plus 120. If you want to go full game, you can get them first 5 minus a half run at minus 105. That's not a bad price in my mind because you're really focusing on the 2 starters here, where I think one of the bigger advantages for this Nationals team. So a couple ways you could play the Nats today if you're interested.
A reminder out there, guys, if you have not signed up over at First Bet yet in order to tail Mike on his horse racing bets and everything. Remember, we got the Kentucky Derby coming up here in a couple of weeks. So you want to be sure and go ahead, have that account funded, loaded, ready to rock and roll as we head down here. And so again, you're going to head to firstbet.com. That is the number 1 STBET.com. You're going to use the promo code VEASAN200. With that, you're going to get some cash back on all your bets there, which I think is really, really great what they do. Not only that, Mike, you are going to be able to place the bets, watch the bets right there inside of the app, which again, we talk about all the time. Instant gratification. The one thing about horse racing.
The one thing.
Well, I'm saying that like you get every time though, is you get the instant gratification, right? Yeah. Like you make the bet, that race is, the post time's happening, boom, done. There, the money's in the account or it's gone.
It's nice. You can move along very quickly in horse racing. You don't have to sit there and watch 5 innings of baseball. You don't have to watch a half of basketball. Nope. Just boom. 2 minutes.
There it is. So going, guys, VEASAN200 over at firstbet.com. As we do each and every Saturday and Sunday on here, we're going to talk a little hockey. We're going to talk a little horses. Let's head to the ice.
Technical regulation size of what? It's time to ask Mike Somich, what the
Don't you ever touch my puck!
Alrighty, so the Flames and the Jets gonna make your card today.
Yep, they're going to make the card today. These are two of the later games on the NHL slate, so you got some time to get these in. The Flames at home taking on San Jose, one of the worst, if not the worst team in the NHL. This is a Flames team that has 3 games left. They are currently 4 points out of the last playoff spot. They need every single point that they can get. Massive favorites today on the money line, minus 320. We're going to lay the goal and a half with the Flames in an absolute must-win game against a very bad hockey team in the Sharks. You can get that at minus 115 right now. And then let's look at one of the better games on today's slate. The Edmonton Oilers headed into Winnipeg. Neither of these teams really have too much to play for here. When this line originally came out, there was a question mark in what the Jets were going to put on ice as a product. We have seen over the last hour or so that they are going to have most of their starters out there. I think this is a good opportunity to take a play against the banged-up Oilers team. I took the Jets minus 105. We've seen them move to minus 115 in some markets at this point. Again, because of the confirmations in the lineup, I still like the Jets here at minus 115. I think they should be closer to a minus 130 favorite.
Let's head on over to the track.
Saddle up, partner.
Want to bet the horses with Mike Somich?
When I bet on horses, I never lose. Why? I bet on all the horses.
It's time to pony up. Giddy up.
I'm upset. A horse did not run fast yesterday.
It was very, very frustrating. The one horse that we had, so okay.
Let me tell you,
Bullard was terrible.
Let me tell you the worst part about it. So the Excellent Truth Kehoe Beach.
Oh, that was so frustrating, man.
So had them in our trifecta.
Yeah.
You know, whatever a Choisia wins the race, don't get home on the trifecta. So now, guys, I'm rapidly about to become 500. In these things, like real quick. Now I'm up.
Yeah, you're doing very well.
Yes,
but
yes, the record is taking a big blemish here. We have gotten 2 of the 3 in every one of them.
Excellent Truth was going to win that race. Mm-hmm. And the tiring 7 and the tiring 2 both kind of squeeze out the one who has to back up and go around and ends up losing by a neck. Very, very frustrating race there because Excellent Truth was the best horse.
We're heading back to Keeneland.
We got 3-1 on it too.
Yeah.
Would have been a nice winner. All right, let's head to Keeneland here. Race number 7 at Keeneland. This is a N2X allowance, $80,000. And you've got a kind of Boulevard of Broken Dreams race here. Some horses that were thought to be very good last year, not able to really pan out, now facing each other in a little lower class level. Your favorite's going to be on the rail, the 1-horse Impel. We're going to the 5-horse Into Champagne. Phenomenal name, by the way, here.
Yes.
Ran in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, the Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks, then came back at Gulfstream for a seasonal debut just a few weeks ago after almost a full year off. Ran well in that race, but ran into a horse named Nick Style and Our Disaster, 2 very good horses at Gulfstream Park. I like the idea of Into Champagne sprinting instead of going long. Now you're getting second off the layoff as well in a nice 6-1
John Velasquez on
John
him
Velasquez aboard. So
Yeah.
the number 5 Into Champagne here in the 7th race.
The 8th race, though. We're going right next door.
Yeah, very next race here. We're going to go with the number 7 horse, Pandora's Gift. This is the Giants Causeway Grade 3 race going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Pandora's Gift has an opportunity to get a perfect trip in this spot. Has not run since October of last year. Switch barns of the Christophe Clement barn. Very good turf sprinting trainer. Gets Irad Ortiz aboard, and the price is right here at 6-1. Let's go with Pandora's Gift in the 8th race.
Awesome Threat is a pretty good name. Future is Now. Oh, we might have to.
Dance Macabre. Also right to the inside.
We might have to get us a trifecta there in that one. So let's just go ahead and get the record to 500 so I can quit feeling good about myself. When it's all said. All right, guys, when we come back, let's look at Major League Baseball, not only some teams, but some players as well, and we'll kind of judge what the panic meter is for us. How does that affect us from a betting standpoint as well? Ready, set, bet here on VSiN.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, set, bet here on VSiN. Just a handful of groups yet to tee off. Over at Augusta, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau will go at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. And I tweeted this earlier, Mike, but I want to get your opinion on it. And guys, this kind of actually does tangentially have a little bit to do with betting, which is, you know, a lot of sports talk radio topics don't, and people are just filling time whenever they're talking about that stuff. This actually does have a tangent connection to betting. I was saying that no person off the top of my head has changed the perception of who they are with the public in such an incredibly short amount of time than Bryson DeChambeau. And that does, I think, leak into the betting market because people like Patrick Reed never gets bet because people hate him, and you don't want to root for Patrick. You don't want to root for Patrick Reed, and like Cantlay always is probably a little bit longer odds than he should be given his skill set because people hate Patrick Cantlay and they don't want to bet him. Now we've seen over the last year and a half where Bryson DeChambeau becomes one of the favorites in all the tournaments where we're able to bet him against these other guys, right? I mean, of course, in Live, people don't really bet Live. They don't care. But, Bryson was the most hated guy in golf, thought of as the biggest loser because of the stuff he said in the media and the way he acted and the way that he did. And then he said he made a conscious decision to just not do that anymore and has now become, and I said, this is where I want your opinion, probably second to Rory in popularity out on tour right now.
Yeah, easily. He may even push Rory on these bigger weekends as well because you have his YouTube channel where it's breaking 50 and you've got A+ list stars that are out there with him, over 2 million followers there. The Masters kind of like the Kentucky Derby where everyone watches, and those people that watch breaking 50 may not be watching a bunch of the other tournaments. I do think it makes a big difference in the betting market as well because you're going to see a lot of $20, $50, $100 tickets on Bryson, and those add up.
Yes.
That makes a difference when you have 100,000 people that don't usually watch golf that are all betting $20 on Bryson.
Yeah, it's just, it is fascinating. This pairing, the dream final pairing.
Yes.
For us. If it wasn't going to be Rory and Scotty, then Rory and Bryson is basically the next best. Yeah, the next best pairing that you're going to be able to get. And, it's not even like, and the thing is, it's not because it's like hero versus villain like it would have been 3 years ago. It's just, hey, best golfer in the world, arguably right now, and Rory, probably playing a little bit better than Scotty, so I can say that, And Bryson, who again now has become one of the most widely known, fan favorite, accessible, like all the stuff that you did not think he was going to be through. You thought he was going to be the most narcissistic, annoying, horrible human being on the planet 3 years ago. And then here we are in a complete 180 of that.
The fact that you could make an argument he is one of the three faces of golf right now is insane considering where we were 3 years ago.
Just absolutely wild. And honestly, it's a big tip of the cap for that guy. I mean, to have that sort of realization to go, oh, I'm heading down a path that's probably not good.
I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Like, I'm heading down a path that's probably not good for me.
Yeah.
I should probably just change this. And he did.
And
And just went out and changed it overnight. I mean, the guy did a clinic in India for all just stuff that you never, again, 3 years, you would never have thought. Never in a million years that he would have done that. But sure enough, that is...
Good job by you, Bryson.
Yeah, that is exactly what he did, and good on him. And again, cannot wait for them to get off. That is about 45 minutes from now. Guys, if you have not already done so and you've not become a VSiN Pro subscriber, I know you hear it on the network a lot if you listen a lot, but hopefully there's new ears listening to us out there on Sirius. Maybe you found us on YouTube TV, whatever it might be, or your terrestrial stations that we're on here on the weekends as well. Running a special from now to August the 1st for just $59 that you get everything we do at VSiN Pro. And what you get with a VSiN Pro subscription, not only do you get the video feed of all the shows, so you can do that, but if you get inside the app, you can also watch the replays of all of the shows. You get the highlights of all of the shows. And then over on the website, you get the daily best bet articles. So the people are handicapping the sports that you don't have time to do. That's where that really comes in handy. And of course, the betting splits page, the picks page, all of those things, and the betting guides too, Mike. And so, now through August the 1st for $59, and then maybe you decide to come along for the ride during football season. Yeah, the great opportunity right now to get involved, able to get everything we do for $59, everything for the Kentucky Derby that's coming up as well, and the playoffs in both NHL and the NBA going to be exciting this year as well. Like we said, they are out on the course right now. Just to give you an idea of scoring, Hideki is 6 under on the day, but I mean, that's Hideki. Hideki is, when he's on, one of the best golfers in the world, so that's maybe not indicative. We do have Brian Campbell at 4 under. We have Joaquin Neiman at 2 under, as is John Rahm. Go away, John Rahm. Got a head-to-head against you here. Davis Riley at 2 under. Berger 2 under. Thagala at 2 under. So, look, and they're kind of like all either at the end of the front 9 or making the turn. So, it looks like there's a birdie or two on the front. We know there'll be a birdie or two on the back. So, Do we see that 4 or 5 under day today is basically, I think, what we're looking at here.
Yeah, I mean, the scores, the way they look, make it very difficult for me to see someone besides Rory or Bryson winning this tournament. There's the 1 6 under that's the clear outlier. No one better than 2 under for the round. No big pluses either, though. The highest score on the course so far today, I believe, was a +3 that I saw. There's a 1 +5 from Tom Kim. Outside of that, it's all +3 or better. So you have a very condensed scoring range that we're seeing right now through the early rounds.
So, and again, always hindsight is 2020. So Hideki's actually he just finished. So he finishes with a 66 with a 6 under. He shot 79 yesterday. If he shoots just even par yesterday, if he even shot even par yesterday, he would at least have some pressure because he'd be in the clubhouse at 9 under, which he's at least posted.
Yeah, exactly.
At 9. There'd be some heat at least a little bit there on Rory and Bryson, but instead he shoots 79. Oh, Hideki. That's the roller coaster you go on with Hideki Matsuyama, guys, if you are a Hideki bettor.
But hey, top 20, good chance of cashing now.
Yes, definitely a good chance of cashing on that. All right, so we went out, we looked around, we're trying to figure out what do we think about these dudes and what is our level of panic? So, Mike, we look here, and Emmanuel Clase, who was easily the last couple of seasons, basically just unhittable. You could not do anything at all against this dude. He has thrown 7 innings so far this season, and 6 earned in those 7 innings that he's thrown.
I can't really explain this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the panic meter has to be at least like the medium level just because of the results that we've seen. But the spin numbers aren't drastically different than what we saw last year. You're not seeing a big difference from a velocity perspective. I can't chalk this up to variance because that's a huge gap from what we saw the previous couple of years to this year. But definitely a little bit of a head scratcher here.
One thing I will say, and it is small sample size stuff, but his expecteds are way better. His xERA is 3.55. XFIP is 3.29.
Yeah.
So one thing that does jump off the page, his K rate is way down. So he was 24.4% last season. He is 18.9% this season. So, and maybe that's more of just a location thing with him right now than anything else. Because like you said, it doesn't look like there's eye-popping differences in the pitches themselves. Maybe it's just a location thing.
And that's the thing. It's a lot of times with these panic meters, if you're really going to panic, you're the velocity is down 4 miles an hour and there's not as much spin rate on the slider. None of that is existing right now for him. So it's hard to say, this is a specific problem with these pitches. I agree. It might be control. It might just be unlucky. Because again, you mentioned the rates are higher than what we are seeing from a analytical perspective. So, again, middle panic for me because I don't think you can completely ignore it, but at the same time, someone I do think figures it out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the panic level at least has to be somewhat there because if you can't locate, it doesn't matter how awesome you are. Major League Baseball hitters will just.
Yeah, they're going to wait you out, and then they're going to hit you when you have to throw it in the middle.
Yankees have the worst starting pitching ERA in the majors. Panic level for me is non-existent because we thought this was going to be the case. We talked about how terrible this rotation was, which is why I was fading the Yankees before the season started. So I'm kind of checks out.
Again, if I'm a Yankees fan, my panic's at a 9, right? But as a bettor who bet against the Yankees, this is kind of what we thought. As you said, this is a Yankees rotation that isn't very good. Yes, the bats, good. The rotation, not. Yes. And so not surprised here that this is currently. I didn't think they'd be the worst in baseball, but I definitely didn't think. I thought they'd be in the back half.
Same. Yeah. For me, my panic level is 0 because I need this to hold because I have them to miss the playoffs. So my panic level 0. Let's go. Keep giving up the dingers. Keep giving up walk guys. Do whatever you got to do. I don't really care. Wilson Contreras,
not good.
Both Contrerases actually have started absolutely horrible. They'll figure it out. They're too good to not figure it out. 0 on that. Willie Adames is a little bit different of a story because, I think the Contrerases are probably better hitters than he is at this point. So, middle with him.
He also switched teams in the offseason, switched parks. It's not a benefit. So, there's a little more concern there with Willie Adames and the Contrerases.
When we come back, we will check in on what's going on in Major League Baseball. Another wave of games is going to get started. We'll give you our thoughts on that one, including a bet there in that Tigers and Twins game.